So, hello guys. Today we're going to change this little thing here. So this is a wheel bearing. Let's see if I can open this. There we go. So we are going to change this. We have a very nice new wheel bearing over here, and see if I can get it out to show you. Here we have it. So here you can see we have the ABS wheel, or what it's called, I don't really know in English, and here we have the new bearing. So, and I was thinking I'm gonna change the handbrake pads as well, the brake pads, and then we have some small accessories for the handbrake. We have new brakes, and then we're going to change this. So let's begin. So the first thing I need to do is to remove my rim over here, and as you can see, it's not looking so nice behind here. So if we go to the other side over here, it will look like this. So I already did this side. So let's begin. So now we have the wheel off. The first thing we want to do is that we have the wheel bearing nut in this little cap over here. So what I like to do is to get some kind of lubrication. Like this is very good. So the only thing you need to basically do is you spray a little bit in here in this groove, so this can go off. And then what we need to do is to remove the bolts for the braking caliber. So we're gonna do that next. So now we have the brake caliber off here, and as you can see, you never wanna let this hang. So on the 850 it's really convenient that you have this holder, the cup for the spring, so you can actually just lay this down here. But for safety I actually have a bit of carbon fiber, no, a box over here, just to be safe, just to load some of the weight off, because you don't really want to have any weight on this. So now we have, let's see if I can take this off with one hand. Yes, I can. So here you can see the brake disc. It is not looking that funny. As I said in my last video, it looks like this has been going hot, but as I said, I have not used this car, so maybe when I finally drive it, it's some rust has built up, and then I drive it, it gets warm. And if we look here, it's not much fun either, but it's going to look really nice after we're done, so that is really nice. So the next thing we want to do is to remove these, and it's really simple. You need to, actually it can be a little bit pain, but you need to remove these springs over here, and then you have one under here as well. It's kind of hard to see under here, but you have a big spring here and here, and let's do that next. I don't know if I remembered to say that, but I'm going to change this as well because it's looking really dull, and then we will try to get this cap off here. So as you can see, I have moisturized it now, so I will actually put a little bit more here and let it eat, so we can try to open this. So yes, okay, so now I have managed to take the cap off, as you can see. So here you can see everything here. I've taken off the handbrake stuff here. So here you can see the old springs over here. Now this part over here is this is the self-adjustment, not the self-adjustment, but this is what you will adjust to get the handbrake working well. So you see this is really it's very dusty, so I need to clean this off before I reuse it. But that part is kinda robust, so it's okay to reuse it if you just clean it. And then you can see the old spring over there. Here is the cap. So sadly I don't have a new one of these, so I think I will have to buy one later and buy a new one, because I can't have it look like this. I will try to clean it, but it doesn't look so nice. And then I have sprayed with some lubrication on here and just inside over here, so this will go off. These are usually really tight, but we will try to get this off. So a tip, if you're going to change this, is to get a breaker bar, and this is a 36 millimeter nut over here. So let's hope for the best. Okay, so you can see I managed to get the big bolt off, and this is the bracket you need. It's a really huge one, so it's kind of expensive, but it's really not, because you're gonna have this your whole life now, so that's kind of cool. So this is a company in Sweden called Biltema, and it's really big in the Nordic countries, so they are really cheap and actually good, really good parts or tools for the price. So that is very, very good for hobby, even people who actually run companies use it. So I bought this cracker bar, whatever it's called, too. So you will absolutely need one of these. These are really good to get this huge bolt off. So I will just show you. Here we have all the things that we have done at the moment. So here you can see the huge nut over here, and I am actually going to reuse this, because I think actually that this one over here, I think this part, this bearing, is probably universal for a lot of other cars, so this will not fit. So I'm gonna have to reuse mine, so that's okay. It's no problem. No problem at all. Here we have the springs, and yeah, of course we need to clean these parts before assembling. So that's what we're gonna do. So what's next? The next thing I think we're going to do is, this will probably, hopefully, just slide out here. Oh, there you go. So let me see. Oh. Okay, this is, wait a second. Here we go. So this one was actually really bad. I tried to see if they were bad, but you see there's some kind of wiggle over here. It's hard to, you see there? Anyway, here, you can hear that. So I don't know if I maybe broke it now, or yeah, you can hear that it's really bad. So it's good that I changed this, so it's gonna be really nice after. Anyway, here we have the next thing we are going to remove is this. This is the dust shield. So here we go. I managed to take off this dust shield. Now it didn't go as planned, as you can see right over here. A nut came off, sadly. So that kind of sums it up, the feeling right now. But anyway, it's not too bad, because it is 1 out of 3, and this one, it will stay there anyway. So we will, you see, it's not that nice, and it actually was holding on really hard. And as you can see, its rust has been building up from the outside and want to go in. So yeah, it's gonna be really nice to change this to new. The next step right here is to clean everything off here. You can see how much brake dust and dust there is on this ABS sensor, and you want to have it really clean for it to read the ABS as good as possible. So what we will do next, you see here, this is actually a rubber seal here for just that cause that it should not rust inwards, as you can see here, so the water won't go in. So this is actually a little bit of a seal over here. So anyway, I will grab a steel brush and I will do as good as I can here. So now we are basically done. So I've tried to clean as best as I can with this steel brush over here. So we have cleaned the 3 out of 4 here. We have cleaned this, not with this, but just with some paper towel. I have cleaned this, and I have actually, let's see if I can, and I have actually lubed this up with some copper paste, as you can see here. So I have not used a lot, but this is really good for making this work like new again. So I didn't have this on my other side, so it was working a little bit uneven, but with this copper paste, I love copper paste, it's like the best thing ever to make everything go smooth. So I will do it a small amount. Some say you shouldn't do it on the lug nuts, but I always put a little bit on, and I have never had a problem. Same as with the brake pads or brake calipers. I will put a little bit, and that's just enough. And let's go over here. So we will install this next. if we see here, we have our hub here. So before, you remember, it was a lot of dirt over here, so I tried my best to remove it and clean it as best as I can. So I've cleaned this as well. So I've cleaned the ABS sensor as well, and now we're gonna just slide the new wheel hub on, and then after that we're going to torque the 36 millimeter nut to, I think it is 140 or 130 newton meters, but I will actually do this by feel the last bit, but we will see how much it is. I will actually look it up to be safe, but I think it was 140. It was on the last. Yeah, it should be. Anyway, we will just put this on, and before we do that we need to put this one. So let's do that. Okay, so now we have the new brake dust cover on. So as you can see, I had to make a small adjustment. It had to be turned a little bit to the right to make the screw holes fit. And we have the wheel bearing on. I have not torqued it down yet, so that's what we're gonna do next. And after that we are going to put on the new handbrake pads, and then we're gonna install the new brake pads as well, which are still inside the brake caliper. So let's see how this will go. There we go. Now we have the handbrake calipers on, and you have the adjuster over here. So the most difficult maybe part about this job is to get the springs on. I've actually maybe 5 minutes to get this spring on just alone. So the trick was to get a even heavier tool to hold it in, because if you had a like a more narrow one, I would lose it. So the most difficult part of this job is to get the spring on. So that says a lot how easy this maintenance is to change these wheel hubs. It's really fantastic actually. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to change the braking pads. Now the easiest thing to do that is to put on the new braking brake disc, and before you apply your new brake disc you have to clean it with some sort of brake cleaner. It is mandatory because the brake discs arrive with a little bit of an oily feel, and that is to make it resistant to rust. Otherwise, if it would be laying for a long time on the shelf, it would look like this if you got it. So that is why all of the brakes are covered in a little thin layer of oil. So you need to remove that before you put the brake disc on. And if you don't, it's basically you have to change, because you will ruin the braking pads, yeah, that's kind of useless. So we will install the brake disc, and we will put the brake caliper on here, and then we will change the braking pads. So let's do it. Okay, so now it is complete with some new brake pads as well, as you can see here. So the last thing I need to do now is just to carefully hammer this to place, and then just put on the wheel. and I have adjusted this so the handbrake is nice and firm over here, so it is a little bit on. You usually want to do that when you put on handbrakes, because you don't want to have it loosed, because then your handbrake is gonna be really high up. So yeah, the only thing now is to put on the wheel, bank this back, and then it is done. So that is it for today. Thank you. So I forgot to show you guys how it looked before, and here we have everything laid out, as you can see here. So first we have the brake disc over here, which was not looking so nice. Then we have the wheel hub, which again, it is looking very dull. We have the handbrakes stuff over here, and lastly we have the brake shield. So I think it went very well. As I said, this is the hardest part of this job, so if you want to do this yourself, it is really easy. You will have to maybe buy some stuff, but it will be totally worth it. And here you can see how it will look after. And by the way, the dog says hi. He's having a cool time here down in the garage. It's very hot today. So that is it for us. Thank you guys. Bye.